displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the park's professor. First hole. The par and distance are at the top of the screen. There are two large trees directly between the tee and the basket, and we're going to walk directly between those two trees, but there's plenty of room, both to the right and to the left, to go around the trees. Probably a sweeping left to right disc flight would give you the most room to work with. Other than those two trees, this is a gradually downhill hole, and it's a pretty easy hole for an opening hole. There's the basket, and there's the view back uphill to the tee. The second hole is the first of three streamside holes, and you can see the stream as it makes its first of several appearances off here to the right. Other than a stream, this is a very flat and very open hole. I do want to welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the park's professor. We are at Herman Dierks Memorial Park. We are in the small town of DeQueen, Arkansas, and so we are in southwest Arkansas. We're actually northwest of Texarkana. This is really a pretty boring hole except for the stream. There's the basket, and there's the view back to the tee from behind the basket. The third hole is another flat streamside hole, and it plays into the northeast corner of the park. I need to say something about the two distances that I'm giving you at the top of the screen. This park regards this course as an 18-hole course, but there are only 9 baskets, and there are 2 tees per basket. There is a long red tee and a short blue tee. We just walked over the short blue tee right there. The way this park regards this course, the long red tees are the back 9, and the short blue tees are the front 9. But I'm not presenting this course that way. I'm presenting this course as a 9-hole course with 2 sets of tees. And so the long red tee and the short blue tee, those are the 2 distances I'm giving you at the top of the screen. Here's the third basket. This is a long and kind of scenic hole, but again very open and pretty boring in terms of disc golf play. The fourth hole is the third consecutive creekside hole. That is the short blue tee for this hole by the sign off to the right. I started all of these video clips at the long red tee. There are a few small trees that you have to navigate here. Also, this hole actually plays across the creek, and so we're going to walk up here to the creek, we'll jump across the creek, and then head up to the basket. The first part of this hole is pretty flat, but the last part of this hole is moderately uphill to get up to the basket. I captured this video on Saturday, February 24th, and it was a warm sunny day with temperatures in the upper 70s when I came here. The fifth hole is the most problematic hole on this course. The tee shot is a forced throw over this newly constructed splash pad, which we're going to jump across momentarily. Obviously that's a safety hazard if there are kids playing on that splash pad, and also it's just bad course design, and so this hole really needs to be redesigned. On the other side of the splash pad, it goes moderately uphill to get to this basket in this sparsely treed area. This was a pretty nice hole before the construction of that splash pad, but as I mentioned, at this point this hole really needs to be redesigned. There's the basket, and the view back downhill to the tee. The sixth hole plays back downhill through the moderately treed area. It is a significant downhill, and it's kind of nice to have some elevation after the first few holes were pretty flat. I'll also mention that I'm walking kind of slowly because I actually slipped and fell on one of these downhills. I did not capture that on video. The dirt underfoot here is clay dirt, and it gets rather slippery when it's even a little bit wet, so you have to watch your footing here. Also notice that the stream is back. It's directly behind the basket, and it's only about 20 feet behind the basket. So you do have to account for the downhill here and make sure you don't overthrow. There's the basket, and the view back uphill to the tee. Hole number 7 plays back uphill, and it also has a decent bit of cross slope from left to right. The basket is directly behind this little cluster of trees that you see up ahead. Off to the left is private property and a densely wooded area, and so the best idea is to bring your disc in from the right with a right to left disc flight, and that'll get you around the trees, and if you can throw it far enough, it'll also set up a birdie opportunity. There's the basket up here. And you can see just how close that private property is there to the left. There's the basket, and there's the view back to the tee from behind the basket. The 8th hole is my favorite hole on this course. It plays downhill, but the fairway also has a steep left to right cross slope. You can't start your disc too far to the left because the private property and dense woods that we saw on the previous hole remain off to the left. But none of those reasons are why this is my favorite hole. As we get close to the basket, you'll see that this basket is actually on top of a platform that juts out into the stream that we've seen a few times before. And that's a really precarious basket location, and it makes sure that you don't want to miss to the right here. And that basket location is the reason this is my favorite hole on this course. It's a long walk to the 9th tee. You have to walk to the right, across the stream, across a soccer field, and then across the main park road to get to the 9th tee. This 9th hole is the only hole that plays to the north of the main park road. This hole is also the most heavily wooded hole on this course, and it plays moderately uphill to a basket perched on top of the hill and under a tree and right beside the tennis courts. Since this is the last hole on this course, I want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. Overall, this course has some flaws and it has some weak holes, but it also has a few really interesting holes. For a 9-hole local park course, this is a pretty nice course, and it is worth playing here if you're in Southwest Arkansas. That's the end of the course. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.